Hey, welcome to today's lesson. Today we're talking about ordering decimals, and it comes from lesson 3 out of chapter 3 from our book. So let's go ahead and get started. When we talk about ordering decimals, we've got a little problem here that I took straight out of our book. It says a Mongolian gerbil's tail is about the same length as its body. A gerbil has a body length of 11 centimeters and a tail length of 10.6 centimeters. Which is longer, the body or the tail? So they want us to compare this body length, which they've already told us is 11 centimeters, to just the length of its tail, which is this 10.6 centimeters. So in order to answer the question above, we can picture a metric ruler, which is similar to a number line we'll be talking about as well. The tail length is 10.6, so that falls right here on this ruler, and the body length is 11 centimeters. Therefore, we know that the body length is a bigger number than the tail length. So we start to use these symbols here, which I know that you have seen in the past, but kids get a little confused as to what they mean. And I too used to get confused with them. I never knew which one was technically less than and which one was greater than, until it dawned on me that just like in reading text, we read math problems left to right. So this one means is less than, because we would read this as being 10.6 is less than 11. And this one, therefore, would be the greater than symbol, because when we read this left to right, we say 11 is greater than 10.6. Now, I know you've probably heard, too, in the past that this, you can think of it as an alligator's mouth or a Ms. Pac-Man, and when they're hungry, they want to eat the bigger, fatter number. So it's always going to open up to the bigger number. So on this one, the bigger number's on the right, so this one is smaller. It's less than this bigger one. Over here, the bigger number is on the left, so this number is greater than this little tiny number here. So hopefully that'll help you to remember what's going on. We can also use a number line to see where numbers fall. And on a number line, it's important to realize that as we move to the right, our number is going to get bigger. No matter what part of a number line you're looking at, as the number line moves to the right, the numbers will get bigger. So when we graph decimals on a number line to compare them, the biggest numbers are on the right, the smallest numbers are on the left. So we can see that the smallest number here would be 3, and then the next biggest is 3.06, then 3.1, 3.15, and the biggest number on this number line is 3.28. So on a number line, the bigger numbers are to the right. What I want you to remember when we're comparing decimals, and I want you to put this in your notebook, we have 3 steps when we go ahead and compare decimals. The first thing we're going to do is to write the decimals in a column, lining up the decimal points. So in a column. So for example, if we had the numbers 1.65, we have 1.06, and we might have 1.5. We're going to take and line them up in a column. So I want to place them vertically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write them back over here, 1.06 and 1.5. Now I have all of them lined up vertically. I'm not using these ones anymore over here. And I've got the decimal points all lined up. The decimal points are right on top of one another. Now, step 2 says, if necessary, write zeros to the right of the decimal so that they all have the same number of place values. We can see that 1.65, we have 2 numbers to the right of the decimal here. In 1.06, we again have 2 numbers, but when we get to this third one, 1.5, I only have 1 number here. So step 2 is telling me that I can add a 0 here in order to make them all have 2. It doesn't change the value of it when you add it to the right here. We can't add it anywhere we want, but we can write it after our number is done to fill it in. And now we just compare the place values from left to right. Well, I would look and go, I would start here. Oh, they're all 1, so they're even right now. Then I get here, oh, 6 is the biggest one, so this has to be the biggest number. Then 5 would be the next biggest, and 0 would be the last one. So if I was going to compare them, I would say this is the largest number, this one is the second largest number, and this one is the third largest number. Another way to look at it is just to kind of cover up this part and look at it in terms of what number it is here. If there was no decimal place, I would say this number is 65, this number is 6, and this number is 50. Well, again, I know that 65 is the biggest number, 50 is the next biggest, and 6 would be the smallest number. So let's go ahead and practice that. We want to order these from least to greatest. And in this lesson, in this unit, you really need to read carefully because a lot of times we just put it in whatever order, greatest to least or least to greatest, and we don't pay attention to the directions. So here we need to start with the smallest and move towards the biggest number. So my first step is going to tell me to list these all in a column. So I'm going to put 1.2, 1.05, 1.15, and 0.98. So I have 2 digits to the right, 2 digits to the right, 2 digits to the right, and here I only have 1, so I'm going to add that 0 in. So now I'm just going to compare, starting over on the left. I've got all ones and then a 0. So I know that this bottom one has to be the smallest number. So that's going to be the first one in my list. So this one's done. I'm going to cross it off. So I got all ones. Now I'm going to go here 2, 0, 1. All right. Which one would be my next smallest number? 0 would be the smallest number here, so 1.05 is my next number. I'm done with this one. So now I can compare 2 and 1. That's pretty easy. 1.15 is my next smallest. That leaves 1.2 to be my largest number. Good job, guys. So now I want you to try this one. Order the lengths from longest to shortest. We're going longest to shortest. So go ahead and pause and put these in order. I'll give you a minute here. All right, so when you did this, when you lined them up, we had 0.6445. We had 0.6544. We had 0.6545. And last but not least, we had 0.6454. This is what you should have done. This was step number 1. From here, now we need to add any zeros. Well, we've got 4 numbers to the right of the decimal in all of these numbers, so we don't have any zeros to add. So now we're going to compare from left to right. Again, we're looking for the biggest numbers first. So here I've got all zeros. That doesn't help me. So I move to the next one. All 6s. That doesn't help me. 4, 5, 5, 4. All right, well, the 5s are the bigger number. I know it's going to be between these 2 for right now. Right now I don't know, so I'm going to go to the next one. I got 4s. That doesn't help me. Finally here, I've got a 4 and a 5. This one right here has to be bigger. So 0.6545 is my biggest number. Since I was debating just between these 2, I know that this is my next biggest number. 0.6544 is my next biggest number. Now that I'm done with these 2, I need to see which one is the biggest out of these 2. So they both have a 6, they both have a 4. Oh, one's a 5, one's a 4. This one is going to be the bigger of the 2, so I'm going to put 0.6454. And last but not least, we have 0.6445. And all of these were meters, so I can go ahead and put my meters back in if I really feel the need to. But we just ordered and compared these. Here's our last problem. I want you to go ahead and try this one on your own. You're comparing these dots. These are the dots that we're talking about. Those are the actual numbers. They're on this line. So when we look at 7.41, that's this dot right here, how does it compare to 7.55? This dot. So this dot compared to this dot, which symbol are we going to put in there? Well, it's to the left, which on a number line we know means it's a smaller number. So we're going to put a less than symbol in there. You go ahead and try the next 3 on your own, and I'll see you in class tomorrow.